Growing outrage tonight as the White House press corps ignores a report in which one of the president's top staffers seems to admit the Obama White House deceived the American people on one of the president's proudest accomplishments. Ben Rhodes, a deputy national security advisor who helped co-write all of the president's foreign policy speeches, told the New York Times Magazine that the narrative sold to the American public on the heavily debated Iran nuclear deal was done so with the help of so-called experts who simply echoed White House talking points. What's more, less than 24 hours after the article was published, President Obama was posed these questions from the D.C. press corps. Take a listen.
Mr. President, what's your reaction to Donald Trump becoming the presumptive nominee of the Republican Party this week?
What did Speaker Ryan's comments tell you about the state of the Republican Party?
I'm wondering what that says, that the nation's capital, their own metro system, was closed for 24 hours and that it's having a number of safety-related problems.
Did you see Donald Trump's taco bowl tweet and your thoughts on it?
Howard Kurtz is host of Fox News MediaBuzz, and I'm quite certain he has something to say about those questions we heard today during the noon hour.
Well, we had to find out about Trump's taco tweet.
Well, there was no comment, by the way, on that.
Yes, and reporters did ask Josh Earnest about it afterwards. The story's starting to get some traction today as journalists go through the 10,000-word piece, which has only been posted online so far. But what's really irritating about this incredibly puffy profile of Ben Rhodes is how smug he sounds in bragging about bamboozling the press. He talks about using the media as an echo chamber. He and his deputies say that reporters know nothing about policy, these young reporters they deal with, and so they feed them color and talking points, which are then kind of repeated online and on Twitter. And, you know, it's not that this doesn't go on to some degree in every administration, but usually you don't have a deputy national security advisor bragging about it on the record.
I mean, you say how smug he was, and that in a way he was taking a victory lap in all this. But at the same time, Howie, you're saying that he's on target with some of his points here.
Yeah, I do think that Ben Rhodes makes a couple of good points, which I want to grant. One is he says that increasingly, because I hear this from other politicians and other candidates, they deal with a lot of 20-something reporters who have only covered campaigns and don't know anything about policy. Therefore, obviously, a little easier to spin. And also, he makes the point that when it comes to foreign policy, as newsrooms have slashed their staffs and closed foreign bureaus, a lot of the more experienced veterans have been sidelined. So there is that. But as you noted in the setup, you know, what really has people agog is, I mean, Ben Rhodes would deny that he engaged in deception, but a lot of people have looked at it, including our own James Rosen, say that's pretty much what it is, particularly when it came to the selling of the Iran nuclear deal. I
mean, you're the media guy. Does any of this surprise you, Howie?
I can't say that I'm shocked because I've covered this in one administration after another, going back to JFK, you know, leaking the good stuff to Ben Bradley. I wrote a book about the Clinton White House called Spin Cycle because they used all the available tools in that pre-digital, pre-Twitter age. And certainly the Bush White House had an orchestrated press campaign to sell the Iraq war. They just didn't boast about how it turned out. But when you have in this detailed piece the acknowledgement, or at least the reporting, that Ben Rhodes and his team set out to fudge the narrative of how the Iran nuclear negotiations started, claiming that it was when a bunch of moderates were elected in Iran, when actually the negotiations, although denied at the time, had started much earlier. That seems to me to go just beyond spin, talking points, color, leaks, to kind of not being straight about the facts.
All right, Howie Kurtz, thank you for joining us tonight.
Good to see you.